What's up, guys? Dr. Teddy here with BSN, and today we're going to talk all about the glute ham raise machine. I'm going to go over some of the best exercises you can do with it, and also try to highlight a few common mistakes I've seen people make with it. But first, I'm going to force you guys to nerd out with me on the history of the glute ham raise, or the GHR. Like many of the popular strength methods we use today, the GHR is of Eastern European descent. It was first used by the Soviet Russians to train their weightlifters and sprinters in the 1970s, and there is evidence of variations of the GHR and the Nordic hamstring curl actually going all the way back to the 1950s. The Soviets claim that incorporating this exercise into their program single-handedly helped them to prevent hamstring injuries. The idea was that it activated almost all of the hamstring muscle fibers due to its unique ability to combine both actions of the hamstring muscle into one movement. This includes both hip extension and knee flexion. In more recent years, we have seen research on the Nordic hamstring curl that helps to confirm what the Soviets discovered back in the 1970s. Simply put, overloading the hamstrings with knee flexion helps them to work better and be stronger. As per usual, those Eastern Europeans knew exactly what they were doing in the weight room. The spread of the GHR to the United States was helped by Dr. Michael Yessis through academic journals and books. Dr. Yessis also played a role in the creation of the term plyometrics, so he's kind of a big deal in sport training history. I was fortunate enough to see Dr. Yessis speak in 2010. His teachings, along with many of his Eastern European colleagues, set the foundation for so much of what we know today as strength and conditioning, powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit, and bodybuilding training. Now let's get back to the meat and the potatoes of this video and talk about how to actually use the GHR. Although there are many different exercises you can do on this piece of equipment, the most common exercise that's performed on it is the glute ham raise exercise. Perform the glute ham raise by placing yourself in the machine with your thighs and knees in front of the pad. You'll have to isometrically contract your glutes, back muscles, and hamstrings in order to hold your trunk upright, and then you're going to slowly lower forward while actively using your hamstrings to resist that momentum. You're then going to flex your knees, bringing your torso back up and using those hamstrings to a greater degree. The angle of your knees and thighs on the pad is what makes it a glute ham raise versus a Nordic hamstring curl. Which brings us to our second most common exercise we might use the GHR for, and that's the Nordic hamstring curl or the Nordic hamstring exercise. In this movement, the knees sit on top of the pad rather than in front of it, making it a more hamstring isolating movement. Nordic hamstring curls are designed to be performed in a supramaximal eccentric fashion, meaning that the resistance on the way down should be more than you can overcome to come back up. This is why for the Nordic hamstring curl, we typically use our arms to assist us on the concentric portion of the exercise. One advantage of the Nordic hamstring curl is that you don't need a machine to perform it. It can easily be done with a partner, which is why it's been so well studied in research. The third exercise I want to go over today for the GHR is a regular old back extension. This exercise utilizes both the glutes, hamstrings, and trunk extensors similar to a GHR or a Nordic, but just in a different fashion with muscles at different lengths. We do not bend the knees on this movement, which creates greater tension and stretch in the hamstring as we are in a stretched out hamstring position at the bottom of the exercise. Squeeze and pause at the top of each rep and keep your pelvis tucked with minimal low back arching to maximize glute recruitment. EMG studies on glute activation have shown this exercise to be better for the glutes when we round our back. I oftentimes like to add a weighted dumbbell or barbell row to a back extension in order to create a greater challenge. This creates an awesome posterior chain stimulus. Start light on these as it doesn't take a lot of weight to make this extremely difficult. And keep in mind, you're not going to use as much weight here as you would for a regular upper body row. And finally, the GHR or GHD, as many CrossFitters call it, can also be used for core work. GHD stands for Glute Ham Developer, and that's just made by a different company, but they're the same exact piece of equipment. The most common CrossFit core exercise for the GHR is the crunch, or the GHD sit-up. While this exercise can be extremely effective at taxing the anterior core, it can also take a bit of a toll on the low back and might not be the most orthopedically friendly or sustainable way to strengthen your trunk. I personally would not recommend it. Instead, I'd recommend reducing back hyperextension and only focusing on the crunch aspect of the movement and only going back to a neutral spine or slightly extended position. One last great way to utilize the GHR for core or trunk training is to perform side or oblique holds. If you want to make this movement a little more challenging, grab a light weight and either hold it in close or reach out further for a greater moment arm and greater challenge on the trunk. Now that we've reviewed the history of the GHR and nerded out a little bit, we've gone over its benefits and the many uses you can get from it, it's my hope that when you see that machine in the gym, you don't avoid it because you don't know what it is. If you guys have any questions or comments about the GHR, please be sure to ask below. This is Dr. Teddy here with BSN. Thank you so much for watching.